We love each other, but there are times when we do not like each other.
It's not just about an election. It's about what this vote stood for, right?
This is ground zero. And this is the time that it's going to get very uncomfortable.
You are not a girl's girl. You a raggedy bitch. And I hope you are forever cursed with soft peanut for the rest of your life. Am I going to mess up your brand?
No.
My brand's raggedy. It's already done.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
Hey everybody, welcome to Accidentally Informed, a new show that is definitely going to fill a void that has been left by the absence of a lot of shows that will speak to a lot of things that people need to talk about. I'm Claudia Jordan with my great friend Erica Cobb. How you doing?
I am wonderful, Claudia. Not you just jumping on a flight, being ready to film.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's where we're at these days.
You know, and how this came about, you were in Dallas
Mm-hmm.
and you presented the idea to me for us to do something together. And I've always loved working with you.
I thought this was the easy question, Claudia.
And you were so kind to have me on your podcast and on your show, and it was amazing. And I'm glad that we're here now. You know,
I'm so glad we're here too. You know, I've always just thought the world of you. And I think that you are the ultimate comeback queen. And we were just kind of thinking about, obviously, my show is over. You're in transition as well.
My show's over too.
Yeah.
So we're unemployed.
We are
really the show came about
unemployed.
Accidentally. Yes, we're really here because we want another job, but this will have more ownership in it.
Yes.
And
yes.
I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, you know, there were a lot of shows being given out shortly after George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of companies and networks want to show that they had a commitment to diversity and inclusion. And I want to say that one of my shows was definitely born out of, well, it was right before that, but it was definitely pumped up throughout that. Mm-hmm. And sadly, you know, DEI has ended in America, and so have a lot of shows that had black faces. And I really don't feel like there's a show where black women are prominently featured. There's not many. I mean, we have The View, but that's one show. You know, we lost a lot of shows, and I think now more than ever with the conclusion of the last election, I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel like I'm unwell mentally. I feel depressed. I just accepted it today. You know, like I cried one time the day the results were coming in, but I just feel in a weird place. Like, what do we do? What's next? I feel sad.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of us carry the weight of the world on our backs. We're always trying to champion everybody else. It doesn't have to be our demographic. It's not just black women. We care about Latinos. We care about white folks. We care about Palestinians. We care about everyone. And then when it was time for us to get one win for ourselves, electing the first woman of color president, we could not get that I can't even say it.
Representation.
The other
it's
word
eluding you because it's eluding our country.
I'm going to take a chance on that one.
You know, you bring up so many points. For starters, like the idea that there are so few shows in general, because the landscape of media has changed. And you brought up the idea of ownership. And I think that is something that we all have to get real right with. We can no longer, people have been saying this forever, like, you don't need to sit at somebody else's table, build your own. But who's really been out there with the plywood and the nails and the hammers? Like, now it's for serious. It is so important. And I really leaned into just having my own from the moment that I stepped foot on a set for a conglomerate, because I knew first that the landscape of media was changing, much like during my radio days, the landscape of that media was changing, and you could see it. And I think that especially as women, as black women, it is so important not to wait for someone to come knocking on your door. You have to create the table, and the time is now. If you were sitting there with like one nail and a piece of plywood, get your girl and have her get the other nail and a piece of plywood and build that table together.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you will sit there and your efforts and how proud you are to be a part of someone else's project, right? You will help build and make said entity millions of dollars. And when it's all said and done, most of the time you don't even get a proper thank you or goodbye.
Right.
And it feels like, not that I've had one in a very long time, but it feels like a one-night stand. At the time, it's like, this is gonna be fun. Oh my
Yeah.
God, my man. And then you hit with the reality. No, bitch.
Yeah.
I got what I needed out of you, and we're gonna move on to the next. And that's what it feels like. I know that's really raw, but that's who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a very thankless position to be in, where it's like, when I jump in, if I'm on someone's show, I'm going to do all I can to build that thing up, to make sure it's profitable, to make sure it's popping, to make sure we're trending and all of this. And when it ends, like, it just feels very empty
Yeah.
when you don't have any ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, obviously I was on a show for 7 years and it was such a major blessing in my life. And I will always think very fondly of that experience. But the truth is, for the past few seasons, I contemplated every year whether I was going to come back or not. And that wasn't just like lip service, that was very serious.
Why, you didn't feel safe in your position?
It's not that I didn't feel safe. It's just that I had felt like, especially being there throughout 2020, 2021 with, the rise of, social justice movement and Me Too and all of these things, I felt at a certain point that I had given everything I could. And it was coming a little bit more at the detriment of my mental health to constantly be in this loop and not necessarily having the autonomy to say, like, well, I don't want to talk about that. Like, when you do a talk show, you don't get the autonomy to be like, no, we're not talking about that today. It's the news. It's the trending news.
Even if it affects you personally.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to be a professional. You want to do a great job. And I, every year, thought, do I have the bandwidth for this? And my thought going in, and it always was that if there isn't another Black woman to replace me in this moment, I can't leave. That's how I felt about it, because I knew that if I gave up my seat, that it may not be filled with someone who looks like me or can at least have a continuation of the interests in which I created that seat for. And that's the reason why I stayed, because honest to God, like, you can ask any of my friends or family and they'd be like, Erica's been talking about, like, I think it might be time to bow out. But then also I'm like, what do I have to go to? And that's when I birthed the production company, because I wanted to have something that was mine. And I think a lot of people are in this situation, whether it's at work or whether it's the state of the nation, like, we thought it was going to be one thing. We're going to do this much until we can get it here so someone else can steer the ship. When we think about the election and all of the hopes and dreams that we had for Kamala, it was, we worked this hard as the 97%.
So it's not 92, it's 97.
Well, 92, everybody's like going 92, 97, I guess, depending on
It's
the
a lot.
demographic. Yeah.
It's a lot.
But 90 something percent of Black women showed up with the intention of being like, we carried this. We are uplifting you and we have your back. We are the wind at your back. And then that dream and hope was derailed. And then you're saying, like, same thing. You're feeling that empty feeling of like, well, was it all for naught? And I'm going to be an internal optimist about this. I do not believe that it was all for naught. I am a little rested after the election results. And I'm going to say, I believe that this is the pivot and I'm going to lean into it.
You're more optimistic than I am.
I know.
And I'm a gambler. I have a gambling addiction. So I'm an eternal optimist. But this is the first time I honestly, and I might cry already at the first segment of the show, I feel heartbroken, Erica.
I know.
I feel like I've been caring about everybody else my entire life, and they don't give it back to us. Like, when I hear of, like, the young gay white boy that is, Matthew Shepard, that's, murdered, I want to fight, and I jump into that fight. When I hear about a young white girl that was raped and she can't get an abortion because of these rules, I want to jump in there. when I hear about everybody else's plight, the Latino families that are being separated, I care about them, and they have nothing to do with me. They have nothing to do with me, but I care, and I feel like it's just taken for granted. I really feel like I've been slapped in the face. You know what I mean? And I feel like I don't know if I can keep being like this, and I don't want it to change me. I don't want to be a heartless bitch, but I feel like almost stupid for being so optimistic that this country would ever pay us back for all this work. You know what I mean? And I feel like I marched for everybody else. All we needed was one vote out of 47 presidents. Can we have one? Can we try this? Can we try a black woman? Can we try a woman? And the women that voted against their best interest, shame on you. Your daughters, your sisters, each other. Because your husband wanted to feel the bravado and feel like it's a boys against the girls thing. And the way they're gloating, I'm sorry, the right, the most fucked up, sore winners I've ever seen in my life. And the way they're making fun of us, like we're just like bleeding hearts. Yes, well, someone has to care about others because you certainly don't. And to see the pics, the cabinet pics, it's like, it's unbelievable that this is a country that we fought so hard to help prop up others. And it's a very thankless job being a black woman in America. It really is. And I don't know, Erica. Like I am pissed. I am depressed. I'm not over it yet. I'm not.
I feel you. I hear you. Like I really, really do. Like when I had a lot of hope that Kamala had a chance. And then when you see the numbers and the split of the numbers, it is very disheartening. Like I was in Mexico, I was supposed to be taking a break for the first time in a very long time. And it really created such a heaviness on my heart when I was supposed to not be thinking about anything. And on top of it, we get to the pool the day after the election and people are in MAGA hats. Like people who were like very communicative and like, hey, how was your night? Da, 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 whatever. And the next day they're in MAGA hats. I had a woman who had spoken to both myself and my husband, like everything was, cool. She was seemingly like a nice, kind woman. And she got a little tequila in her the day after the election and asked me why I couldn't find a beautiful black man to marry.
Wait,
she was a white woman.
She asked you that?
Yes, because she was talking about this young kid who now I'm just guessing the blindsided, and he was a young black boy. And she was like, he brought a blonde girl to the school dance. She's like, I asked him why he couldn't find a beautiful black girl to bring. And then she said, like, why can't you find a beautiful black man to marry? And I was like,
ma'am, don't get slapped because I'm not in a good mood right now. I would slap the shit
like,
out of you right now asking me some nonsense like that.
24 hours.
Leave me alone, bitch.
How
did you react? What did you say?
Well, she had also said...
You're so classy,
well,
Erica.
I
admire to be as classy as you.
No, it just depends on where I want to give my energy. So the way that we had rolled into this conversation, or before when we met her and she didn't say that, she was saying that she was with her boyfriend for 10 years and they're older, like in their 60s maybe. And so my response was, well, at least my man married me. Now, was that the right would say? And I don't have any feelings about people who have relationships, but it was just like, I was like, why are you asking me?
So she had a boyfriend and she's asking you about you who was married.
Yeah. So she was with her boyfriend for 10 years and they're like in their late 60s. And that was my response.
A 10-year boyfriend in your 60s is a lot. That's
like, so I just said, well, at least he married me, because that's how the conversation has started. Anyway, but I do want to go back on some things that you brought up because I think it's so important to say and think about. you mentioned how much empathy you have and how much support you rally behind other people and causes that don't affect you.
I'm exhausted.
And I think, for starters, Black women are the most hyper empathetic demographic in the world. They were mama love, people couldn't wait to say, because that's how the nurturing, like, you get this very historically damaging, like, feeling that people feel like you're supposed to jump in because that's your role. You're supposed to jump in and be the caretaker. You're supposed to be the wet nurse. You're supposed to be the mammy. You're supposed to be
the friend,
everything. And it goes back.
You know why? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I've been drinking. And I will be drinking more. They do say that when you trace back the mitochondrial DNA, that the Black woman is the mother of civilization. And I think because of that, we are empathetic to all, like everybody in the spectrum, because we are the mothers of civilization. Mm-hmm. And how can we be like that? And as much as I want to be selfish and say, screw that, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, I did say that. I repost all these memes about I'm done for the next 4 years. I can talk that, but that's just me talking shit.
Right.
Because I know the next big cause, it doesn't matter if this person is white, Latino, Asian, whatever. I'm going to jump in and probably do everything I can, even though when America had their chance to repay us or reward us or just put one in,
recognize,
it was denied.
Yeah. But see, that's, I know, because we've had these conversations and you're like, bleep these big
yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm
mad, Erica. I'm mad.
And I totally get it. And it is like, what is it? The 7 stages of grief, that people, because there was the crying, and then there's the anger, and then there's the denial, and then there's all of these things that are happening. But I think you bring up such an important point to the idea of who is really there for what a lot of people will consider the lower quartile, the minority populations, the disenfranchised, because what people were, the rhetoric that was behind the idea of like, oh, these elite, or the Democrats are elitists. And I'm like, well, first of all, being elitist is very relative. But if we're going to talk about the 1%, and the 1% is something that people don't really understand. You throw around like, oh, because they're a part of the 1%. Depending on where you live in this country, you could be a 1%er making $150,000 a year. And that's just the truth. That's how demographic breakdowns work. If you're talking about the 1% in terms of the world or this country in general, then the 1% falls on both sides of the equation. They fall on the Democratic side, or the Democrats and the Republicans. So my question to people is, what do people who are a part of the 1% or are platformed or are just powerful people who are splitting the vote between Democrats and Republicans, what are the Democrats doing that the Republican 1% isn't? And my argument is that they're actually caring about the well-being of those who fall in the 99%. And another incentive to care about the well-being in general of those who fall below the lower quartile bracket is people always want to talk about this person on this person crime. And it is a battle of resources. And when people
you mean like black on black crime? Which is very fake.
Yeah, like it's because
Can we get into that real? I know we have a lot of things to get into, but this is something that really irritates me. Black on black crime is fake news because people commit crime against people that are in their vicinity, in their communities. I think the black on black crime is like 2%, and white on white crime is like 89%. You kill in your vicinity. You commit crimes in your vicinity, and what is in proximity to you. But it's like such this bad thing that it's just black on black crime. And I feel like the media has done a fine job of putting these narratives out there to make these like the big bad black boogie monster that is really, if you really dive into things, it's really fake. Like the criminals are criminals, black, white, whatever. And I just feel like it's been this since the beginning of time to demonize black, black on black crime, blacks are this, blacks are that. Blacks are welfare queens. Really, look up the numbers. Blacks are getting the most abortions. Really look up the numbers. We're not, you know? And I just feel like it's part of this big plan. And the Republicans have been very good at their messaging because they speak in simple terms. That with the fact that it just came out recently that most Americans, the majority of Americans are like below a 6th grade education level, right? Reading level. So now you're just pandering to people that really they don't have critical thinking skills. And now Department of Education is about to be gone. Education is just like, we're just putting that to the wayside. They're demonizing Ivy League colleges. And I just can only imagine where we're going to be in 4 years.
Yeah, but see, I think that all of that is very scary.
By the way, can I just say, shout out to your husband. Your ring, I am so distracted. It's so pretty. Like, I just keep like looking at it like, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
It's super cute.
He's a very kind man.
Good job. Do you have any friends? Because I'm so sick of dating. Okay. I'm over it. I'm so tired.
Like Anthony, can you work on that? He's over
Please.
there. Yeah, I think there's first of all, it's all very scary, and I'm gonna tell you why I'm still very optimistic about things, because
please give me some hope.
I want to give people at least, if not hope, at least a measure of a way to pivot the way that we're thinking in general. But I do want to say that when we're talking about people of resource, and that resource might just be you have a roof over your head and food on your plate. When you are denying or hindering the ability for more people to have access to resource, we're really going to see what the what on what crime is. Yeah. Because honestly, like I had a break-in, and we had a break-in in our home, and it was a white male. The assailant was a white male, which I said many times on the 911 call, because the last thing I wanted was for the 8 police officers who showed up, guns drawn,
come
to
arrest
shoot
you.
Me. And so, but it was a man who had just been released from jail that day, and I know that he didn't think anybody was in the house. I'm 99% sure that he was just there to try to get his next score and try to get something that he could pawn or money or whatever. But that's essentially, and that's what I think about when you are denying more people access to the resources in terms of healthcare, in terms of financial assets, things that are going to better their life. Then that's when society turns on itself. Mm-hmm. And that's when crime rates go up. So I hope that for everyone who thought that this was going to help them in some way, and you mentioned white women who wanted to go with their husbands and vote against their best interest, I don't think that they really think that they're voting against their best interest. Right. Now, personally, I am married to a white man who is in oil and gas. So he's in an energy sector that's a conservative or conservative industry. Our household was 100% blue, and I just can't get on board with any woman who's like, well, I have to vote in line with my husband or my household. That's not how any of this works to me. Like, my husband could have easily have voted for his best fiscal, issue. Like, he could have easily have done that. I could have easily have done that. And we financially, voted for everyone else.
Financially, same thing with me. It would behoove me to actually vote red. But I feel like the difference, and it irritates me when people say, oh, the parties are the same. No, one party clearly cares about people, even if it is at their detriment of their own tax rates, right? I'll pay a little bit more taxes if socially the country doesn't feel so ugly. I'll pay a higher tax rate if I don't have KKK rallies and white supremacists walking down the street talking about Jews will not replace us. I will pay extra to know that somewhere I'm probably beyond childbearing age, right? But I care about people that I don't even know to have access to health care. That's the difference. And then the Republican side, I'm sorry, it's more of an asshole-ish, selfish, well, I as long as it's there, I'm doing better than them. Let me down them. Let me take away from them. And it's unbelievable. I live in Texas. I hear all these stories about how the immigrants are just overrunning the country. I live in Texas. I have noticed nothing different in 5 years. I promise you. I have noticed nothing different. I have not seen this invasion that they speak of. Are people coming across the border? Yes, they are. But I do not see this huge invasion that's taking all these black jobs and white jobs away. I don't see it. Yeah. And I live in a border state. I feel like a lot of it, they did a fine job of the marketing, the messaging, to make it seem so horrible. Do we have an issue with it? We do. But I feel like the way it was marketed and messaging, it made it so much worse. I, again, live in Texas, and I've not seen a difference. Actually, I've been there for 6 years. In 6 years, I've not seen that. Well, I know we really went right into a tangent on this election stuff, and I like that because I really feel like there really isn't a platform out there that we can have these honest conversations. The holidays just passed, Thanksgiving. Were you affected in any way as far as not wanting to be around certain family members that maybe voted differently than you? Was that an issue for you, or was everyone kind of on the same page?
No, the family members I don't want to be around are for different reasons.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
They can't cook?
No.
Trash cooking?
Yeah, no.
Alcoholics? We have that in my family.
No.
They can cook, but they drink a lot.
No, I'm
So do I.
very lucky, and in terms of the extended family with my in-laws and stuff, I'm very lucky that we're very much aligned. So we haven't had those issues at all. But I know a lot of people who either went to friends' houses for Thanksgiving or just decided to do Thanksgiving on their own because of political reasons.
Have you lost any friends with this last election? They say, I believe we heard that 25% of people did not go home for Thanksgiving this year because of fear of, the disagreements. Have you lost any friends? I personally have blocked 2 black men that I've been friends with. One was a friend since 1992. 2202. That's 32. Damn, I'm an old bitch. Damn, I had to block him though. And he became this religious fanatic, which is so funny because this is the same man that carjacked someone in his own building and then continued to drive the car into the same building.
No.
But somehow he became obsessed with Trump. And he's so funny and we had great conversations. But when it got to politics and religion, he was just all the way crazy. And he didn't really have any good points. All his points were just trashing Kamala, degrading her, calling her a whore, a bitch, whatever, a black bitch. I don't like her hair. I don't like her laugh. Never any substantive. Ooh, hold on. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, substantive.
There you go. Reasons.
Yeah.
So it's sad. I am in mourning with some of my friends. Because it's not just about an election. It's about what this vote stood for, right?
Yeah, I think it is difficult. For women who have been very vocal about Roe v. Wade being overturned and how, it's egregious and abortion rights is healthcare and all of these things. It's like for people who said that and then voted to uphold the demise of women's autonomy over their bodies. Like, someone's going to have to explain that to me, like how you can do both.
This friend was a father of 2 girls and
But
biracial
he
daughters.
hates women.
Yeah.
If you're going to call Kamala Harris a black bitch, you hate women.
Right. What is
like,
she?
There's nothing that...
What has she done that's been
nothing.
bitch-y?
Nothing. It's the audacity. It's the audacity of her thinking that she would win office, the highest office in the land. But also, let me tell you, Claudia, there is a BOGO on audacity, okay? Like, I don't know what it is, but people are out there buying one and getting one. Like, I have no idea. But I find it interesting because I saw this coming, especially being in like mainstream media consistently for 7 years on a trending show. You can see the pendulum swinging, and then you can see the pendulum swinging the other way. And I think it's going to be interesting, not so much about what's going to happen in the next year to 4 years. That's going to be pretty predictable. But when the pendulum swings the other way, it's going to be very hard to put that audacity back into the box. It's going to be very hard to undo, because what I feel, and of course, everyone knows where I stand in my politics and everything, but what I feel about it is it's a staunch difference to say we're out here being audacious about women's rights, about social justice. We're out here being audacious about the idea of healthcare access and the idea that people should be treated as human beings. That's what we're being audacious about. On the other side, for the pendulum swing, it's audacious about the fact that women should not have control over their bodies. Your body, my choice. People are out here.
They're saying that on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all the way live. And
I saw people on Twitter bragging about like almost threatening women, like there's going to be a rape squad. And as someone that was a victim of rape, I actually got pregnant by my rapist back when I was 18, the day after I graduated high school. So to me, it was very personal that we keep these rights available for women, because I didn't ask for it. I didn't flirt with this guy. I didn't lead him on. I was 18. I had very little sexual experience, and this happened to me, and I had to get an abortion. And I could not wait to get this evil out of my body. And I remember protesters outside shaming me. And, you know, I just feel like the way people are just so dismissive of that being a real thing. Like I hear people when I talk about abortion and rape, well, it's really just women just being reckless and keep your legs closed. Well, what about the women that are held down by their wrists at 18 years old who freeze and cannot move, and they're in a state of shock and they get their bodies taken from them, and then a seed is implanted in them. And I just don't understand why more fathers, Republican white men, how are you okay? I bet, you know what? Let me take that back. Let some black man or some Mexican rape your daughter or even have consensual sex with your daughter. You'll find a way to make that happen. But you don't think that's going to happen to you. I didn't think it was going to happen to me either, but it did. And it did. I had to like pawn jewelry, sneak behind my mom's back, go and get an abortion. And it was horrific. And then complications that arise. You get infections. I had a friend that had ectopic pregnancy, and she was dying. It was so painful. And before they could go ahead and proceed, they had to call the lawyers, and they had to make sure legally they could do this. And women are bleeding out. We just had another woman bleed out and die in Texas. And she was a black woman. So you know how it goes. When it happens to a black woman, you're not going to get the same coverage. It's really a blip on the news. We need, I hate to say this, but when it happens to like white, blonde hair, blue-eyed women, then it becomes, oh my God, this is atrocious. We have to do something about it. It is so fucked up, and I'm so angry about it because I'm in Texas. There's bounties they can put on you. If your doctor, if they find out your doctor assists you in aborting a fetus for whatever reason, if you're raped, up to 4 members of the rapist family can sue you for $20,000. Your doctor can be put in prison to up to 4 years up to life in prison for helping a woman get out of a situation. And our governor, Greg Abbott, his response, his answer to this was, well, I'm just going to lower rape. I'm going to get rid of rape in Texas. Guess what number, where we're ranked in Texas for rape? Take a guess.
1.
We are the number 1 state in America for rape. So we have these horrific laws and an abundance of these sexual assaults happening. It's a very scary place to be. You know what I mean? And this is Texas. And it is just foul. So, I'm not messing with these people, because to me, I don't care. If you care more about your tax rate, which is not like the people that are, you're still going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
I cannot. I really can't. I cannot.
I'm considering leaving.
But I'm doing this, sir, because of my finances. Nobody is talking to you, sir. Why are you in this conversation?
Yeah.
This does not affect you. It doesn't. I'm telling you,
ladies, I'm going to make this bold statement right now to fix these men that are making these laws about our bodies. First of all, there's no legislation that governs a man's body. They say it's God's will if you get pregnant by a rapist. Well, it's God's will if you have a limp-ass dick. I say we need legislation on men's penises. Let's ban Viagra and Cialis, because if God wanted your penis to work, God damn it, he would make it work. And because your dick doesn't work, why should you be able to get medical care, but we can't get medical care? First of all, personally, I would love for every man's dick to be hard, but it's not, right? That's God's will. He doesn't want you to reproduce because you're trash. I just feel like if you're going to govern all of this, let's keep the same energy. Then I wouldn't be as bitter and mad. Yes, I'm bitter. So where is the legislation for Viagra and men's peni? There are no there's no legislation. There's no laws. You know that? There's no laws.
I'm still stuck on the peni.
Peni. I made that word up. I think that's the plural of penis. Peni. Penises. I'm sorry. I'm sick of it. Like, and women, we are the majority in America. We're the majority. Why? You raggedy bitches that voted for your raggedy, dusty-ass husbands.
You raggedy bitch.
That you don't even like, but you just, they protect you. They give you money or whatever. You some dusty-ass bitches. And you are some raggedy-ass hoes. And clip this. Plus, this is going to be our promo. You some raggedy-ass bitches that you could have gone in that booth and just voted and said, honey, fake it and lie to him like you tell him that he made you come. Okay? Just say, yes, honey, I vote. I did what you wanted me to do. Like, I don't get, like, why you didn't just go in there and just vote the way would help you and your daughters and your sisters. You are not a girl's girl. You a raggedy bitch. And I hope you are forever cursed with soft peni for the rest of your life. Rest of your life. Because I know that man with that high BMI and diabetes ain't getting it hard. And I need you to cancel Viagra.
This has been Accidentally Informed with your host, Claudia Jordan and Erica.
I stand by everything I said. Fuck y'all. Sorry. Am I going to mess up your brand? No. My brand's raggedy. It's already done. No. I'm unemployed, so I can say whatever I want. Y'all some raggedy, y'all are now some girls. And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you complaining in a couple of years. Because the first 2 years are going to be, you're still going to get some of Biden-Harris policy. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
In 2 years, 2026, bitch, I don't want to hear it from you. Don't want to hear it from none of y'all. We're over here.
We are over here.
We're over here.
We are over here. Which first of all, that was gold. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I don't have any manners. No. I ran out of fucks to give on November 5th.
I understand.
I'm out.
I was very much.
Was that bad?
No, I did. You know what? I think we just need more honesty.
I'm a childless cat lady. I have nothing to lose at this point. Yeah. My cats ain't gonna watch this show.
But see, I think that people, there's two things that people don't really understand, because it's when we get quiet. When we get quiet, it is something that people should get nervous. When we get quiet.
Yeah, because we're talking.
But also when we've run out of F's to give, people should get very, very nervous. I have decided, because I've gone through the grief, I've gone through the sadness, the anger, the denial, the despair. And I've landed on a period of it's all about me. And
get selfish.
Yeah. And at first I really felt some type of way about that, because I really do feel like a big part of my identity and just the way that I feel good moving in the world is to constantly uplift others as well. But I saw this talk on, I think it was like Instagram. It was like a reel or something. And this man was talking to his therapist, like, I give. And he's like, because the Bible says it. And she said, no, the Bible says when your cup runneth over, because people are supposed to receive your overflow, not giving them what should be in your cup.
Are you done caring?
I'm not done caring, but I am in overflow season.
Erica? What's it going to take?
I'm in overflow season.
They gave us their entire ass to kiss. They really did. And now motherfuckers want to, let's wear blue bracelets.
Okay, I can't get down with the blue bracelets. No,
I will say this.
No, I cannot.
I do feel bad for white women that were down with us, that are getting demonized and put in the same box as the women that voted with Trump. And I do feel bad for them.
Let me be very clear about this, because I am one that I am very much, I love my ally sisters. I think that when you do not appreciate people, it gives them no place else to go, which essentially is a situation that we have with most marginalized groups.
And we do need them.
And I'm saying marginalized, and this is the reason why, and I'm going to be super careful because I know people are going to come for me. The reason why it is so important to continue to stay connected and engage with white women allies is because they're in a situation right now where they've been vocal, where they have been identified, and now they're freaking out because they're feeling like they're on an island.
They're feeling like how we've been feeling our entire lives.
Is why I think that this is a very important muscle that white women must exercise. You have to exercise being open about where you stand, and you have to live in that discomfort. When people talk about like how privileged people want to be oppressed so badly.
They do.
It's a situation where this is a muscle. Consider this ground zero. If you really want to be engaged with Black women, Latino women, but people who are in minority groups and are constantly being come after, discriminated against, you have raised your hand and have volunteered for this. This is ground zero. And this is the time that it's going to get very uncomfortable.
Are you
very
uncomfortable?
uncomfortable?
I feel like a lot of them lied to us though, because from the outside looking in, from what everyone was saying on social media and what was in the media, it looked like so many women were on board with us. We had this enormous coalition. And when the numbers came out, which I still feel like were fudged, Elania Musk, it didn't reflect. It did not reflect. Like it was like 1 point more, right? Over this way, I think, something like that. It was like, what happened? What happened?
I do have, well, for starters, we all know people like throughout our entire lives who want to be down, but then they will switch real quick to get to, like, they want to be a part of the party, but then they want to be a part of the privilege. So we know there's a lot of flip-floppy people. Okay, so of course people didn't vote the way
I feel
that they
stupid.
said.
I feel stupid for being optimistic, because I always believe in the good, like goodwill. I remember being younger and asking my mom, "Are there more good people in the world than bad?" And for the majority of my life, I thought it was good. I feel now that it's not. Like, look at all the things that's happening in the world right now that we're just letting fly. Look at the 30,000 plus people, 47,000 people killed in Gaza. And I don't think there's 40,000 terrorists. I don't. I feel like it's mostly civilians. And there's just not enough of an outrage about it, right? And then go to America and all the things that are happening here and all the programs they want to slash. Do you know how many people are going to be affected by these things that are happening right now? Like, people thought eggs were expensive at $3 something.
Oh my gosh.
We did
Don't
all
get
this.
me on the avocados. The dusty bitches you were referring to
Oh,
earlier.
yes, come on to the dark side.
Mad about that avocado toast, honey.
And Taco Tuesday ain't going to hit the same because 90% of the avocados come from Mexico, and tomatoes. I love tomatoes. I'm half Italian. Y'all killing me right now. So Thanksgiving, right? So you didn't have that. You weren't affected with that. But some people were affected, you know, and some people had, like, it really made a lot of people not want to get with their families. And I kind of feel like this has to happen. You know, I feel like people need to sit in that pain and feel uncomfortable. But I want to lighten things up and go a different direction right now. Let's get into some fun.
Okay.
There's definitely a cultural difference with pets in America.
Yes.
Animals. Like, some folks let their pets kiss them on the mouth and some don't. Would you let your dog or someone bring a dog and sit at the table at Thanksgiving or just dinner period? Because there was a story that was out this week.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Club Shay Shay.
Shannon Sharpe was sitting with his dog at it seemed like a Thanksgiving table, although it wasn't Thanksgiving yet. And people really came for him. And I do understand this. So I understand it, but I'm going to be honest. I've done this because our dog Spike, may he rest. He was an elderly dog, and sometimes he would get like a little confused, and then it was like running into things. So we have this banquet table at our house, and I put him on the banquet, which is a booth.
But that's the B table. That's not the A table, right? That's not like your table where your food is.
It was my table.
Erica,
yeah,
let me
it
find
was my table.
Do you let your dog kiss you on the mouth?
I do not let my dog kiss me on the mouth. That's not
does
been
your
a
husband- does your
thing.
husband?
No, he's not a no, because that would be by transfer. I would have a
Because
problem
then you'd
with
be.
that.
It's like you're all kissing the dog in the mouth.
You do not.
I think he does. Oh, that
What?
the white gene is strong. He can't deny it. Erica.
Ew,
Erica.
seriously?
Erica. White people let their dogs kiss them on the mouth.
What?
My mom is white. They the tongue in the mouth and everything.
No, are you serious?
By
Not in the mouth.
your dog's mouth. Your dog.
Oh, now you want to act like you have boundaries.
Your dog's tongue has been in your mouth.
No, it hasn't.
And I might want to remind.
No.
I like to remind the people at home.
Don't say
Dogs
things like that.
Dogs lick their own ass.
Yeah, don't. That's not true.
Dogs can suck their own.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, so it was the kitchen. So it is the kitchen table. It's a big kitchen table, and it's a banquet. So he would be like in the corner, and he would put like little pillows so that he would know that we were close.
Erica, you are risking your 92% status right now.
I know, and I. Would
So your
do
dog
it.
was at the table.
It was at the table, but it's like, here's the table. He's over in the corner of the banquet. It's a big bench.
With the hair getting in the food.
No, he was on the bench.
Erica, do you put raisins in your macaroni and cheese? No, what is it? Potato salad?
No.
Okay, because
No.
this is bordering on that kind of behavior.
No. He was in the corner, and we had invited a friend over. He was sick. Anyway, we invited a friend over, and she brought this guy that he was dating, and it was a black man. And I quickly remembered that I can't be doing that.
Okay.
Because he was like...
So because the brother was there, that's why you straightened up. I see you. Okay. Speaking of straightening up, I know we don't have a lot of time, but people are thinking about really leaving the country now that we've got this ridiculous administration coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We've got... all these sex offenders that are going to be in the cabinet. And there's a cruise line that is offering a kind of Escape America kind of thing where you can go on a 4-year cruise for $40,000 a year, which is, if you think about it, like that's cheaper than paying mortgage and rent.
And your
bills.
food and health and all of that stuff is included.
And you're on a boat and you're away from everybody, right? Would you consider doing this?
I get seasick.
You do? But
Yeah.
a cruise, you really don't feel it, though.
The last time I went on a cruise was the last time I could go on a cruise.
Have you been on the Tom Joyner cruise?
I have not.
It's a black cruise. It is so funny.
I've always heard about it.
The food is a little spicier than the regular cruises. And it's
Okay.
like music, like R&B and hip hop. And it's like,
Well, when's the next one?
I think it's like in the spring we should come. And we're going to bring your husband. You gotta
Oh,
you gotta
okay.
leave your dog at home, though.
Well, he died.
Oh, well, I guess he won't be coming.
Oh my God.
He won't be there.
I want to go on the Tom Joyner cruise.
It's fun. You got to go on a black cruise and bring your husband.
Okay.
'Cause
Well,
black
maybe
people-
the seas won't be as choppy, but it took me, I had sea legs for 2 weeks after the cruise.
Okay, but what do you think about this idea of leaving the country for 4
Well,
years?
I just think it's a great economic opportunity.
It's
for
cheaper.
people.
My mortgage is way more, that would save me money, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't personally do it because that feels like a long time to be on a boat. But in terms of leaving the country, and I commend people who actually saw it through. My husband has dual citizenship, so
Where's
it's
his-
always
where?
Canada and the U.S.
Oh, okay.
So it's always been on the table that we could live in Canada, and I mean we might at some point. I would technically need to live. Not technically. I would need to live in Canada for 5 years for 51% of the time in order to get Canadian citizenship.
You're already in a cold place. You're already in Denver, so it's it wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
No, I mean it is drier and colder.
Do they
there.
have, what's their food game like? They have spices up there.
Well,
Do they have
well,
Lowry's?
Canada isn't yes, it's a country, but there's different parts and provinces.
Because
of
England,
Canada.
the food is a struggle. city.
Yeah, so where he's
Wait,
from.
hold up, real quick. Only because I'm interrupting you because I've been drinking. I know I'm being rude. Why Europeans went all around the world to get spices and then don't use them? Isn't that weird? Y'all killed all kinds of Native Americans. Y'all went all Panama Canal. Y'all did all this to get spices only to only use salt and barely that. I don't understand. I need somebody. I'm going to call my mother out there because she's white. I need to know, like, why y'all did all this and disrupted so many people's lives to not, they don't use turmeric, cumin, seasoned salt, garlic pepper.
Not common.
They don't use they don't use none of it. I don't understand. Like, it was like a waste of time. Am I right?
That is a
White people. Why'd y'all
question.
do that? Why don't y'all use spices? Y'all killed so many American Indians. Y'all killed so many people just to get spices to not use none of them. This is y'all's seasoning. Salt. Oh, wait. Mayonnaise.
I don't know, Claudia.
I need these answers. I don't understand.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's a great question.
You never thought about it, did you?
I never.
They caused so many problems to get sugar cane and to get all these spices, like I said, only to not use them.
That's a great question. Actually, I think we should pontificate on that. I think you need to weigh in. Why do you think the sauces or the spices were necessary if they weren't being used?
I don't get it.
Was it a hoarding thing?
I think it is.
I really haven't ever thought about that. But now that's all I'm going to think about.
We're gonna talk about that. But before we go, one last thing I want to talk about: friendships.
Yes.
Broken friendships. You haven't really lost any friendships over this election, but have you lost any friendships recently?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Can there be a violation in your friendship? Can you come back from a friendship violation? Like I feel like there's girl code, like etiquette, friendship etiquette. Can you talk about a time?
Yeah, I think that when you can't come back from a demise of a friendship, it's because for me, a major boundary was crossed. Or I am just going to be honest. I am very, very big on like, you take responsibility for something. Like people mess up like all the time. And it's like, if I'm bringing something to your attention, like I would hope that you would bring it to my attention. Like, hey, when you did this, or when you said this, or this kept happening, this is how I felt about it. And it gives me a chance to, one, think about my behavior or what I said, and if it's a deal breaker for me. And most of the time it's not. It's just I was running my mouth and I said something I shouldn't have said, and I'm so sorry, full stop. I'm sorry. That's effed up. I shouldn't have said it. But when people start to get to a point where they are just so staunch on not being wrong, regardless of how it made you feel, then it's very difficult for me to come back from that. So when people go all in, it's pretty much a wrap, because I can't, I need flexible thinkers and flexible people in my life.
People that can admit that, you know what, I can be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
We had a friend group, and it's 4 of us, and it kind of split down the middle, and it just kind of demised, and we were doing everything together. It was such a fun, I'm a team player. I was on a track team. I love being part of a team. I just feel like I just love a group, we support each other, and just knowing that, I know I always have 3+1s that are going to come with me, and we're going to have a great time. But I feel like there's mistakes that people can make. Oh my God, I didn't know I was affecting you like that. Then there's personality flaws that person will never see that they did anything wrong, and they'll gaslight you and make you think, no, you were wrong for thinking that I was wrong, and then make you and guilt you. And that kind of happened recently with a friend group of mine. There was some girl code violations that just kept on kind of happening, and there's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong and saying, you know what? If you did that to me, it would really hurt me. So I'm sorry that I did that to you. I didn't even mean to do it. I would accept that. But when you just stand strong on, I didn't do that. I just feel like, I don't know if it's social media or where we are in society, but there's so many people that want to put this fake image of perfection out, that they're never wrong. And it's the worst thing in the world to say, I was wrong. I think that's a very liberating thing to say. Thank you for letting me see that I didn't even notice I was doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's when you have growth.
Yes. Yeah, I think a part of it too is not being able to check yourself and your own boundaries. it makes it very difficult to have flexibility in acknowledging that you may have done something wrong. So what I mean by that is like, if you like did something that I didn't like, and then you did it again, and you did it a third time, and I never said anything about it, but you have a stronger sense of boundaries. So when I do something the first time, you say to me, hey, Erica, like, I didn't think that was cool. Could you not do that again? Now, all of a sudden, I can't acknowledge that I did something wrong because my lack of boundaries didn't allow me to check you the 3 times that you did something that violated my boundaries. So now you're at this standoff between each other, because if I say that, oh, I'm sorry and I was wrong, then it almost like diminishes the fact that you maybe made me feel some type of way and I can't say it to you because now it looks like I'm going to tit for tat.
Right.
So I think that's another reason why I need people with strong boundaries. I need people who are flexible thinkers, and I need people who are just flexible in general, because people are going to mess up and we need to have an open line of communication. I'm one of 4 siblings, 5 with our bonus brothers. We love each other, but there are times when we do not like each other, you know, but it's never that deep that we can't come back and be like, I didn't like that. It reminds me of a time in 1989 when you did that. And I hit you with that Teddy Ruxpin. Don't make me pull that Teddy Ruxpin out again. You know, like, and then we laugh about it and we apologize and we move on. And that's my expectation for people in general.
It's hard to come back there when the trust is broken or the respect is broken.
For sure.
And I will say that I'm not really that flexible in my friendships, because I feel like we should, I don't know, I kind of feel like and this is going to sound very arrogant, I kind of feel like I get it right the first time. Before I hurt you, I think about how this would hurt me, how I would feel if someone did this to me. So maybe that's something I need to work on, but I'm really not that flexible. When I see someone make like the mistake more than once, I tell them and they keep doing it, I'm pretty much done with you. And my ignore game is like, it's like you never even existed.
Yeah,
and sometimes when you're not around, I may go back down memory lane and look at pictures and be like, damn. But like you have shown me that you don't care and you're selfish. And I feel like when you keep letting people like that in your life, you're going to have a lifetime of lifetime of hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm just like not with that. Like, I do not want to have wrinkles, and I'm too vain to be all stressed out about you. I don't want to be all looking all haggard because you're stressing me out. So yeah, sadly, I have had to say goodbye to a lot of friends that just move real foul.
Yeah. And I think, but that to me is divine intervention, because every blessing that I've gotten, each time I've had to say goodbye to someone, a blessing comes in that I'm like, I know why that person couldn't have been there. I know exactly the reason why this had to end when it did, because this wouldn't have come in. And had it come in, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it.
That's a good point. It sucks losing friends though when you're older though, because like we're so close to like I always say I'm in the end of the third quarter in life. You know what I mean? Like, you hope the people you have now, we can go to the finish line together. But if they're violating you and disrespecting you, then that's lowering your quality of life, and we should not keep those people around.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Don't take us for granted. We good people.
Yes, exactly.
Well, this is a fun conversation.
I know.
Yes.
We're going to have to do it again.
We should do it again, like really, really soon. This was fun. And I hope the people home watching, you follow, of course, Erica Cobb and myself, Claudia Jordan. And I hope you were, at the end of this hour, you were accidentally
informed.
That part. See you next time.